the customers. So this really is something new for us. It launched last Wednesday at 11 o'clock in the morning. So it's almost exactly 8 days now up and running. We wanted to for the theme today, I'm trying to talk about how design can actually help shape business and help shape decisions. I think this is a pretty interesting case. I'm also going to be a little bit critical also in order to learn from previous business. It's really, really interesting to hear about learning. So trying to get this learning aspect. What have we actually learned through this project, and what will we have to learn to go forward. But I think it's a good kind of practice to talk a little bit about, talk about yourself and who is actually the guy standing up there. So this is me in 3 pictures. This is my 1970 Chevy Camaro. I've owned it for 10 years and I've probably taken every single bolt out of it and put it back again. Don't get me talking about cars. These are my 3 boys. The single goal in life is to make me and my wife crazy. And we succeed every day. And sports is the 3rd picture. And I'm super lucky, even after being 40 years old, I learned a new sport. So this is me and Sami Arkomaa from Suunto in the finish of half Ironman Finnish Championships last year. So far I've done 6 races and a couple of more this summer or next summer coming up. Cool. So nice to be here with you guys. Many of you may know Suunto as a brand, but I would like to maybe tell a little bit about the background of Suunto. How was Suunto actually born? In 1936, there was a Finnish engineer-orienteer, Tuomas Vohlonen, and Tuomas had a problem. He was an avid orienteer, and the compasses available in 1936, they all sucked. They were not precise, they didn't really serve the purpose, so he set out to do the best compass in the world, and succeeded. And he was granted several patents for liquid-filled compasses, and Suunto was born. And actually in just a couple of weeks, we are going to celebrate our 80th year in business next year. And this spirit that Mr. Vohlonen actually set out is driving the company. I think we're still having his picture on the wall. We still keep coming back and say he's actually a pretty cool guy. He's not like a relic, but more like a spirit that, hey, if this guy could do it, then we can go forward. What do we actually do? I think Suunto as a company is pretty unique. That we're trying to help people to get most out of their adventures and kind of enjoy the adventures and also relive the adventures afterwards. And whether your adventure actually is on the top of the mountain or whether it's in the bottom of the ocean, literally, Suunto has a solution. We actually have a world-class solution for you. But we are pretty unique in a way that we are serving the both ends of extreme, if you will. We have a market leadership clearly in the diving instrument business, almost half the market, and we are growing steadily in the outdoor business as well. And we're trying to expand and grow more into also the everyday life of people. As I'm a designer, I've worked at Suunto for 5 years. Before that, a stint at Nokia. We realized, Jussi, that we had some common background at Nokia Research also. People often ask me that, okay, so what is your guideline for design? How do you guide design? How do you create rules for design? And I usually come back with this clever, smart-ass answer that we don't have a guideline, but we do talk about bloodline. And there's a trick here that actually makes some sense when you start thinking about it. Because if you start building guidelines, the guidelines usually, they are kind of, in the end, they are rules. And you do need some rules, obviously, but you have to be careful with the rules because they very quickly start, once you create a rule, it might become outdated the minute it kind of is released. Because it's the product of the moment you create the rule. Also, I mean, every designer's heart, I mean, if you show, at least I think that if you show me a rule, I want to break that rule immediately. I want to challenge that rule. That's the whole idea of the profession. So therefore, we kind of set out to do more like a bloodline philosophy for Suunto. In a way, like if you look at those 3 boys of mine, I'm pretty sure that they share the same DNA, and almost certain. And they're all different. The eldest one is like overachieving, like I guess his father sometimes, and stressing about everything, wants to be always better and better and better. The middle one, really medical happy, doesn't really care if he fails. And yet you can all recognize that they are brothers. And this is kind of what we want to achieve at Suunto. We want things that we create always be modern, even with the heritage from Tuomas Vuohlanen. We want things to evolve. And we don't want things to look clones. I mean, it would be awful if my boys were clones, for them and for me. And we don't want our products or services to be clones either. We want them to evolve, but then have this kind of feeling that they are part of Suunto. We're using these two words and kind of summarize the design philosophy. We get a couple of more principles behind, but I won't go into that today. We talk about sophisticated roughness. And the way we're trying to explaining this is that if you think about any product, for example, sports watch, which is a key part of our business, at least today, it's fairly easy to design a product that is super kind of sophisticated for urban use, like me trying to dress up neatly, standing here in front of you guys, all of you dressed up nicely. It's kind of easy to do that. And it's fairly easy to do something super rough for an extreme condition only, but you probably wouldn't be wearing it here today. And when you start putting these two things together, things get interesting and complicated. And this kind of complication is what we think makes Suunto. We want to create beautiful products that you want to wear every day, and yet they are for real. They are actually worn in extreme conditions, keeping people alive and safe every day. So this is kind of where we come from. This is what Suunto is about. This is how we approach things that we design. And we feel that we're pretty smart in it, but we're also capable of learning, and sometimes we get through some humbling experiences. So if we go to the case of today, it's the customizer. And this actually it's been a fairly long journey. I'll try to paint a picture. What have we learned that we're still learning in this journey? Back in 2010, already before I joined Suunto, there had been discussion that we could actually offer mass customization for our customers. Most of our products actually, except for one or two product families, are manufactured by hand in Vantaa, in Finland. And we have very, very agile factory. And our factory people, actually, production people, started thinking that, hey, we could offer you guys in business much more kind of customized and tailored solutions. And this picked up some fire in the company. So I picked up this actually from the old slides, so this is unchanged. And sorry for the names of the guys I'm bashing here, the good friends Sami and Simo. First idea was that, hey, we could actually do some small batches of products with customization, maybe for some dealers. And there's some serious planning, like, okay, let's take the Suunto Core Alustrap, which we had at the time. Let's make some laser marking in there. Talk about minimum quantities, order quantities. Talk about rules like acceptable formats, order time, delivery times, all this. Very serious plan. I mean, these both guys are very smart. And didn't go anywhere. Dead end. Nothing happened. Fast forward a couple of years now, I'm in the business, so I can't blame anybody else anymore. I'm also involved. And we come back to this. And again, the idea is kind of the fire is somewhere, how would you say in English, kyte, kind of a little fire somewhere that we could do something about this. We are capable and we believe there's something in this customization. So we start another round and we actually start building guidelines, if you will, and plans. So trying to create together with our supply guys really strong plans like, okay, how do you design things? Where do we invest? So we could actually have some engraving, laser marking, detailing on the products, investing in tooling, work shell kind of setup, educate people, etc. Some pictures. We even built, forgive me, guideline for where you could, how to do this. Didn't go anywhere. Dead end. Nothing happened. The business guys were looking at the proposal. It went through a couple of boards. or meetings, and nothing happened. So come last year, 2014, and Suunto's president Mikko Moilanen, he came back this. Mikko actually, when he joined Suunto a little bit over 5 years ago, made a fantastic turnaround for Suunto, focusing, simplifying our operations, and we've been on a growth path ever since. So he's a guy who makes things happen, right? So Mikko came to us and said, guys, I pulled the team together and say, now we've been talking about this thing for 4 years. I've seen a couple of presentations, we need to do something, or then we bury this whole project. And he nominated a small team and asked the team to start working on the concept of this is like spring 2014. Okay, and there's a smart guy, Juha, who was leading the team. And at first he said, okay, let's go to the first meeting now, do some background work, pull together people from supply, business, design, etc. And then pull together a great presentation with templates. And this is the one part of the presentation he showed to CEO or the president in early July 2014. So last summer, just before the summer holidays, we have a management team meeting. And there's a clear key benefits, so they're like quantifiable and non-quantifiable results. There's a business plan, kind of expectation. I've taken the numbers out, but this is kind of the plan. Super smart guys, super solid plan, like pessimistic, realistic, and positive, optimistic business plan, etc. Talk about brand impact, sales growth impact, everything. And what Mikko says is not good enough. And he goes and says, guys, I want to see this from the customer perspective. And then he points across the table his finger at me and says, I want you, Antti, your team, come back with the proposal by next management team. This is early July, and the next management team was in late August. And usually people have summer holidays in between. And I have a family, so I thought I'm not going to work for 4 weeks on this alone. So I called Teemu Maikkola, UX designer in my team, and said, how do we do this so that we don't kill our holidays and we need to get something for the guys to show after the holidays, right? So me and Teemu set out to work, and this was actually super exciting. So we didn't have much time, so we had to be agile. We had to be quick, and with fairly quickly we came up with the idea of the Suunto Lab. Let's see if I can make this thing work. And how do I pull this into? Yeah, there we are. Big. So we actually created a little fake site. I said, okay, so what would be a simple example? How would you do this? So we actually came with a couple of ideas. So you would have one watch. We started with Suunto Ambit, say we have to have a pilot, start with one product. This is a product we manufacture in Finland. It has customizable software. It's been done for 3 generations. So we have a bit of a learning about how we built this thing already. Easy start. We built this low scale. We thought maybe it's about setting a scene that you want to come to Suunto. You want to set the scene according to your dreams. So I pulled this little slider in where you can adjust it according to your sports. So you want to be more adventure, more kind of sweat sport. Do you want to be more sophisticated maybe? No, I think I want to go more to the rough direction. Notice the background changing. Or maybe I want to really try what the adventure end might give me. Very, very quickly had a couple of pictures. Definitely having nice holidays in between. The idea is that you can also choose some sports while you go. You can share this in social media, build it in, or even have some limited editions. So that was sold. Mikko said, fantastic guys, let's make this happen. And then everyone in the room was like, oh fuck, no, we have to build it. And the head of the project manager, Juha, came back to me and said, how the fuck did you guys do it? We've been talking about this for 4 years and now it just says yes. And I didn't even think about it at the time. But now before the launch of this presentation, also pulling this stuff for you guys together, we've been realizing that it's a simple thing that we actually started looking from the consumer's perspective. not from internal goal perspective, not from guideline perspective or consumer perspective. It's been an interesting project, so obviously we've been doing other things as well. We work on the product concepting with the Finnish agency called Omus, on the color and material work. So we actually created this custom laser patterns library. And what we can actually do now, you can take the watches, we can create these beautiful patterns on the bezel of the watch. They're inspired by old race cars, modern clothing, or maybe some vintage decoration. So we're actually also stretching the bar quite far from the traditional sport-driven Suunto. We built up a site concept with a couple of companies, so work with No IT and My Customizer, a Canadian company, who's building the backend for us. And for the customer testing, taking the original idea, we were obviously developing further, and then our partners created let me show if this video works, a little video. So this is about 2 minutes, so this kind of summarizes the key concept, how it works and what it does for the customers. Do we have sound? Let's see. Do we have sound?
Yeah, we can hear sound.
Can I up the sound a little bit? Thank you. All right. And it's now live. At the moment, you can customize the product function, the product outlook. I think we have about. Let's see if I can make it work. So this is now live site. We calculated you can get something like 200,000 different combinations of these parts that we have at the moment, and we are planning to expand this so that in the very near future we also can get this functionality customization working. And if I just get the site up and running, I'll show you a quick demo. How do I get this a little bit so smaller? Can I zoom out the page a little bit? Saat zoomattua ja ulos. Ja tuolta. Ja. Onko se ihan? Meneekö se enemmän? Vähän joo. That's good. Meneekö se? Patsikö yhden isommaksi? Hyvä. Okay, so we start with the watch. The idea is that you come to this kind of lab environment. You can toggle the watch either by pressing the parts here or on the list. So we can select the decorated bezel. Oh, it looks a bit grand for me. I think I want to go with the facets. That's beautiful. Then obviously you can also change a little bit bits and pieces and details like the gasket around the display, a little bit of contrast there. I think at the dial around the gas, it's too much, so maybe go back to that one. You can, if you want, change the case and the strap in different colors. Some people actually do. Personally, I prefer the kind of color matching. Obviously, all the details like the buttons you can change. Turn that a little bit. You can change the buckle. Even little things like the screws. So there we go. That's pretty neat, I think, for a 5-minute thing. And the thing is that we actually get people to work on this. At the moment, in the first week, we had now somewhere in, was like 337 when I last night checked. You can share this already live in Facebook, you can buy it. And if it wants to come. Here it comes. All right. You guys can also go check it yourself, but it works, I've done that. And you can go and put it out there and buy it. So, and please go and check out, there's a huge library now building up those hundreds of watches already within the first week. And I think that the point here, to sum and to end with, is that it's been a massive learning journey in many, many different kind of angles. First of all, this internal versus external viewpoint. That we come to the realization that looking just inside the company, building these guidelines and kind of KPIs internally doesn't really get us anywhere. You actually take the view on the outsider, and when Teemu and myself we were able to build this concept, you could see people's eyes lit up and say, this is what we've been waiting for 4 years, and now we get it. And we want to try this out because it's so compelling. So the power of that design and showing it. And it didn't take us 4 years, it didn't take us months, actually it took us 2 weeks to build it up. I think it's been a learning journey for me as a designer and also our whole design team, especially the industrial designers. I've seen a lot of chuckling and like smirking about, do we really let the consumers design our beautiful watches? I mean, they're going to look like shit. And this is not to be underestimated either. There is this internal kind of barriers of letting the consumer in. Personally, it's been a huge learning that you actually get so much more when you let people in and let them co-design with you. And we're still on that learning journey. And also, if you start thinking the possibilities, what you can actually do, I mean, the whole engaging part, engaging the community with the products, or maybe the way you sell not just these customized products, but the rest of your even your off-the-shelf stuff. What if you could actually much easier customize the things you do? We know at the moment our user experience could be even better. We know that it's very, very good once you get started. You want to do the triathlon, I mean, there's no better product on the market. However, we know that we are challenged in the way we get it up and started. We did actually a project with the Ixonos guys in the summer about the user experience of products, and it was also humbling. So things like this, how to make it easy to set it up, how to make it easy to customize and compelling to sell new ways, super interesting. So altogether, we are only in the beginning. We are trying to imagine the rest and we're trying to learn. It also forces us to be more agile, learning every week now, seeing what people actually do with this thing, rather than waiting for weeks or months like traditional product launches, where you sell into the channel, you wait 3 months before you actually start seeing the actual sell-through figures and make some sense what will you actually do next. Here you have to be agile, it's a learning for us as well. So we hope that we are going to stay learning at Suunto, and I hope to make fantastic solutions for all of you guys also. Thank you.